Hey everyone, this is Rachel and welcome to another scrapbooking process video. If you hang out until after the video is through, there are always detailed shots of my current layout. Let's get going! Hey everyone, I am here today using a kit I put together for a National Scrapbooking Day challenge on a board I belong on. The challenge was to take a kit that's already in existence and rather than buy new stuff, go to your stash and find stuff that is indicative of that kit and put it together to use. So I had chosen the February 2018 hip kit because I really liked it. I actually almost bought it just a la carte and realized that's silly. You already own several of the pieces of paper. You should not do that. So instead, I went to my stash. I have a stash of Studio Calico papers that, okay, hold on. I've got it right here because I pulled these and I never put it away. So this is it. It is 99% Studio Calico, 1% other random stuff I bought. Where it's so the majority of it is just from Studio Calico kits that I bought at uber clearance, when they would have their 75% off sale or something like that. And I don't necessarily love how they I will say, their kits are getting much better now, but there was a stretch there where I did not agree with whomever was making their kits in their pattern and or color matching ideas. So what I did was I went ahead and pulled out papers that to me felt similar to the style or color, more the style. The February 2018 hip kit has a lot of dark aqua in it, and my first pick was this piece of paper right here. And even though it does have a bit of that, I didn't really pull a lot of that color in besides that one. So I went more for the pinks and the corals. I then also pulled in this is a die cut and cut aparts from Cocoa Vanilla. I don't remember. I'll put it up on the screen because I'm sure I'll remember by the time I actually put this up, but I do not remember what it's called off the top of my head. And then I also pulled in some wood veneer, some enamel dots, some alphas, and some word alphas. And I may pull in a couple other things, but for right now, this is what I've got going. So I'm going to go ahead, get you put on fast forward, and get started with this layout of myself. Yes, I've been doing a lot of layouts of myself. My stepfather had gone through and scanned a whole bunch of photos from my childhood, and I had put them in a folder and totally forgotten about them, to be honest, and then went back and I wanted to do a printing, and I think it was it was one of those where you had to buy a certain amount of photos. You got them for ridiculously cheap. So I just was trying to print off any photo I hadn't printed off yet in different folders. So this is one of them. This is my first grade school photo. So, and look, you can tell it's the mid 80s. I've got that, oh sugar, what were those? The fiber things, people tied them around their luggage and stuff like that, and they also did bows with them. And I'm sure my hair looked super lovely first thing in the morning. I think by the time we got around to having our photos taken, I might have had recess because my hair is looking a little jacked up there. All right, I'm rambling. Let's get going, folks. So now I did film this back around the beginning of May. It is now the early middle of June, I'm assuming, when this is going to go up, due to having a lot of videos left from crops I went to, and then having some layout shares from doing a Schmel class. I'm just running a little behind on actually having layouts to scrapbook within the same realm of time. So I'm poking through this kit I put together, and I love this stripe paper. I think it is so pretty. I love the colors they chose for the stripes, and I'm just completely drawn to it. And I am taking a leap of faith here and cutting it at an angle. I just had this idea of having this angled piece of paper as a giant mat, and now I'm going to struggle to finish the rest of my layering. I love this wonky plus sign paper. And oh, I want to say that is a Hip Kit exclusive. Actually, is one of my non Studio Calico papers from that bag o' paper. And I just love the way those plus signs work. So I definitely want to use that. And I'm also thinking about using the B side of this stripe paper, which are these tone on tone triangles. So I'm thinking, do I want it to poke up the top and then down at the bottom, or do I rather like these plus signs? And I decide I rather like these plus signs. So same thing before, I just cut a big chunk off on an angle, and then I'm going to just trim about 1.5 to 2 inches of this triangle paper, and I'm just going to have that go across at the top. And then I'm just going to go ahead and attach it to my striped paper, and just basically creating this colorful block of paper. Now I decide to offset that whole thing rather than run it straight across the full 12 inches. But I'm going to play back and forth with that for a few minutes. But I decide no, I definitely prefer it offset rather than straight across. So I'm going to go ahead and get that down. I'm definitely I've been in the mood lately of just oh sugar. Adele from Inky Quill calls it stick and plunk, and it's just making a decision, not letting it fester for hours on end. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make a decision. I'm going to go ahead and glue it down. So I go ahead and get that plus sign piece of paper glued down as well, and I just trimmed that bit off, and I had that bit sitting to the side, and I thought, oh, I could tuck this in at the other side, and I think that would be really cute. So I peel back my paper, and I stick that underneath, and I'm like, oh, yep, I absolutely do like that. So I'm working with a lot of different angles, but it definitely, I think it worked out in the end. I really like this layout. It's pretty simple, but I'm okay with that. Even for me, even with my patterns, this isn't super overly patterned either. So I'm going through my Wild at Heart, oh sugar, ephemera. Okay, the word ephemera is what I'm looking for. Ephemera pack. Also mixed in there are some cut aparts from a cut apart sheet that I had, and then some Scraptastic exclusives, because when I got this kit, it was actually part of a Scraptastic kit, so I don't have a huge ton of it left. In fact, what's in that container, that little plastic container, is all I have left at all. So I'm going to choose my title from these Amy Tangerine thickers that I had pulled from my stash, and I'm just using the words "Stay Sweet." I just thought that was cute. I also pulled that die cut that says "cute" because, hello, 6-year-olds are cute no matter who they are. And I also pulled that flower that came from the Amy Tangerine Alpha word set, along with a couple different die cuts. That heart, the little butterfly, and the she walks with the wildflowers die cut. Also from my stash, I had pulled in these freckled fawn printed wood veneer flowers, and I add those to my clusters as well. And then I had fussy cut the butterflies from a 3x4 cut apart card, and I'm going to go ahead and pop those up on some Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. I love the Stampin' Up! Dimensionals because they're thinner than the ones I've found either at Michael's or online. They're quite thin, so you get a little bit of dimension, but it's not massively off the ground. All right, as I said, I'm keeping this on the simple side. Once I finish this, I am going to add a couple, or maybe just that one heart from the alpha sheet. I'm just going to write that it's my first grade photo and the elementary school that I was going to at the time. And the last thing I'm going to do is add some enamel dots. These are from Pink Fresh Studios, the Mix Volume 1 or 2. I actually don't remember how old they are. So I place them in groups of 3, and then I just tuck a couple behind some of those butterflies, and I think I'm getting some mist. So I lied about it being the last thing I was going to do. I'm checking with what color I want to use against my my little swatch book, because I wasn't sure if Mango Tango was going to be okay, but it is. It's my go-to coral color, and that is going to finish my layout off today. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a great day. Bye, everyone.